Oh yeah, welcome to How Can She Snap, the Marvel Snap podcast for the filthy casual. I'm the kid, one half of the Super Snap Bros, here with my brother from the same mother, Mr.
No big deal.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And today we got another podcast for you. We got High Evo coming out. He's out. We've been messing around with him for a little bit, some more than others. We're gonna talk about obviously those stonks, possibly an incoming Galactus nerf, and some of the cards that we want to see buffed and nerfed ourselves. All right, that's what we got this week. Let's get it. The kid. All right, no big deal, my brother. My brother. How
What's up,
are you?
buddy?
How are you? How was your week of Marvel Snap?
I feel great. It's been a journey this last week. At the end of the last pod, which we did on Saturday, and it's now Wednesday. So about 4 days ago, I was around rank 87, 88, and we made it to infinite, baby.
Oh
Baby, we did
yeah.
it.
Oh
Break out the red
yeah.
panties. It's the red panty night. Let's go.
That grind, that grind.
Yeah.
So we'll be getting into what took you to infinite, but why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Well, I think you get it's just a lot of Galactus players when you get into the 90s,
Yeah, what were
and
you seeing in the meta?
mostly Galactus,
Yeah,
and then mostly Kitty and Stature deck before Evo came out, obviously. And then some people, maybe the occasional like Sandman, I think, to try to counter the Kitty stuff.
yeah,
And that deck has Arrow built into it, so you could deal with Galactus too. So you kind of handle Kitty Galactus, even a Stature if they can only play one card at a time. So yeah, Sandman, Kitty, Galactus, and what was the fourth one I said? No, yeah, Sandman, Kitty, Galactus, pretty much. That's
and
about it.
probably high Evo when they came out.
Yeah, I mean, High Evo, everything changed with High Evo.
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah,
and then you said the stature deck too. I think you were saying.
yeah. I think the Stature deck did get a bit weaker though with the wave change.
Yeah,
We kind of talked about it on Snap Stonks on the last ep and just in general, but yeah, wave does hurt the Kitty and the Stature, and I think that's why Sandman's kind of coming back a bit
yeah,
because it's like a natural. You get this more aggressive wave play that just
yeah,
totally shuts down all the Sarah decks too. Like I don't see too much Sarah. I see a decent amount of Surfer out there. Surfer's pretty strong still, I think.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you get waved or Sandman and you're playing Surfer, you're still kind of miserable for the last turn. So,
Yeah, I actually played
um,
a fair amount of Surfer.
yeah,
I was working like an animal the last week, working
Mhm.
4 p.m. to 4 a.m. and
Yeah,
haven't really played for like 8 days in a row and didn't really get to play too much.
Mhm.
But when I did get to play, I messed around with a little bit of Surfer, some of the Kitty Bounce, that Kitty Shuri deck a little bit.
Mhm.
But I didn't really get to play too much. I'm not a
Mhm.
I'm not the phenom like you making it to infinite.
I,
I think
I
I'm
know.
I think I think I'm
you
still high 80s right now, but I was just messing around.
you did make it to Infinite a couple seasons ago, so
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
it did happen.
But yeah, so I was just
Mhm.
mainly just messing around when I could, only
Mhm.
a few times. So I didn't play too much, and I was ready to play High Evo on Monday night. I was like 8 p.m. I had my thing open. I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I got some time blocked off. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
no,
going for it. And then the hammer got dropped, and
I
Evo
was
did not come out.
I was real sad about that, like,
You were
real
pissed.
sad, like, because like, man, Kitty, Haivo, the best cards, but they did fix it, turn it around really quick this time, so I'm not,
Yeah.
like, mad at all anymore. Like, this was a
Well,
really fast, like, 2-day fix they got.
I'm so surprised that it was 2 days because
Yeah.
the OTA changes are one thing and they're
Mhm.
phenomenal for the game, but to actually change like card text and when they have to do a patch, they have to like I don't know exactly what they have to do, but I know they have to get like permissions from like the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Like they
Yeah.
actually have to like present something to them and then it has to get approved. So like
Mhm.
for it to get turned around in like 2 days, because that's why
Mhm.
it's only once a month. That's why they don't do patches every week because it's like they
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Um, and so for this to get like, approved right away, like 2 days, I honestly thought it was gonna be a month. I'm like, all right, I'm buying Lad, which
Yeah.
I still might buy Lad. He just
Yeah.
seems like a ton of fun. I might just
He's
do it.
he's great, but then you gotta weigh it like, okay, do you even wanna touch Tribunal? And,
No,
yeah, no, yeah, well, then Lad, it's a good choice, and then
he doesn't.
how many move cards are you gonna buy too is the other thing. Because I am actually another thing I did was really stupid. I bought Master Mold as well. I barely played him, and, I don't know, he doesn't feel that fun to play, like, he seems
Yeah,
pretty good, but, uh, that's my first buyer's, regret. Now I'm down to, like, 8K tokens,
yeah.
and God, I wish I had that 3K back from Master Mold.
Yeah, I mean, I will. I mean, how many move cards am I gonna buy? Like, how many bundles are there gonna be in June? Like all of them
Yeah,
probably. I'm probably just gonna whale it.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I have like 8K tokens, and I might just spend my last scraps on Iron Lad and not no regrets.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. Just live in the moment, enjoy the game, and
Yeah, exactly. But
whatever
I think
happens
Iron
after.
Lad is one that will be like, no matter what card comes out, you can always like use him.
Might be kind of good in move too. Like I don't know.
Yeah, who
In
knows?
theory, it makes sense. There's really no bad hits in that deck.
Yeah,
Like even if it copies Iron Fist, like that's pretty sick. You know,
yeah, yeah.
and then you could even play 2 Iron Fists on the next turn. So
He'll
like
be
yeah. So
Vulture
I would
moves
say
over and gets 10 power.
yeah,
Vulture becomes a 13 right away.
yeah. It's pretty nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's just one that like will always work with any card that comes out, obviously, because he just copies the text, so he's always going to be relevant. I think so. I
Mhm,
think, and he just seems like a ton of fun.
mhm.
So that'll be my main reason. And plus, I really want to play that Patriot deck, that Lad Patriot.
From playing a lot of Lad over the last like week and a half, 2 weeks, I would say he's not like crazy fun. Like he's really fun, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah,
he feels more like a solid kind of tech card, if that
yeah,
makes sense. I know it's
yeah,
like sounds weird, but just from playing
yeah,
it,
yeah,
he just makes your deck like a little bit better. I imagine that's how Jeff probably feels to put in your deck too.
yeah,
I don't have Jeff, but it's like he always feels like pretty good to play.
yeah,
But once in a while, he does like absolutely pop off. Like if he copies like Onslaught, like you're just like, well, let's go. you know
yeah,
but it doesn't
yeah,
happen. Like it's like one in every 10 to 20 games where you get like this crazy Iron Lad copy. Most of the time it's just like a pretty solid play. At
yeah,
least in my experience.
yeah. What did you think about you? You just started playing with High Evolutionary, like what for the last? When did he even come out? I don't even know. I was sleeping in the morning.
I think like
I'm just
like few hours ago. I don't
yeah. Yeah,
know.
I played with him for like half an hour. I got him a blue border. That's about it. But what did you think about him so far?
Well, okay, let's get into it. So you want to pull up the deck? Uh
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah, the deck you were using,
this
this one,
deck got
Evo.
me from
So let's
95.
let's just
Yeah,
talk. Let's just the people who are listening. Let's just go through it before we
yeah.
talk, because otherwise I'll feel bad.
Okay.
So we got the Wasp. We have Sunspot. This is
Mhm.
the no big deal special, by the way.
Well,
Wasp,
yeah.
Sunspot,
Everyone's
Misty
playing the
Knight.
same deck.
Yeah. Luke Cage, Zabu, Cyclops, Shang-Chi, High Evo, The Thing, Abomination, She-Hulk, and Hulk.
Okay, so this deck got me from 95 to infinite.
Nice.
So the final
Just a
push.
couple hours ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Would you snap like and win like 5 games in a row, 8 cubers?
No, no, no. It was. I played for like an hour, I think. Uh,
Yeah. That's
yeah, I
pretty
just got
sweet.
back from.
35
I got
cubes in
back
an
from a
hour?
meeting. I had a free hour and just rallied. Yeah, I don't think there
That's
was any
wild.
A cube wins actually. It was mostly two
Yeah.
cubers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I tried to start. I tried Moon Girl, and it wasn't really working too much for me. I found that with the Moon Girl, you've played the What Am I deck.
Yeah, I love that one.
Generally, for the people at home, Moon Girl copies the left side of your hand.
Yep.
So you want to play out your cards so that you hit your She Hulk in this case, or your Abomination. And then on the last turn, if those are cheap, then you could play She Hulk, She Hulk, Abomination, Abomination, because they naturally reduce themselves.
Yep.
But in a high evolutionary deck, I mean, it makes sense now, but playing it, I was just like rattled and had to throw a deck together because the card just came out. You have to pass your turn a lot in this high Evo deck. You can't play out your cards, like so. You're you're
Yeah.
passing your turns, and then your Moon Girl's just like dead, you know.
Yeah.
So I did play against a good amount of Moon Girl. Like a lot of people were trying the same thing as me.
Yeah, of course.
I found it to be bad. I lost cubes with Moon Girl for the most part. Then I tried some Hazmat. Wasn't really feeling it. Didn't feel too consistent. But there definitely could be some promise with Hazmat absorbing. Like these are all 4 costs too. You could even maybe do Sarah Iron Lad too, like, and just go all 4, like 4 or 5 fours, reduce them, play 3, 4 drops on the final turn. You know,
Yeah.
I could see it, but I didn't want to try that when I was pushing for infinite. I wanted something a little more consistent. Then I tried Magic and Infinite because we're playing on Grand Central this whole time. So
Don't
you
get me
gotta have,
started.
so for people at home, if you know Grand Central's is hot location, like 60% of the time it appears, or whatever the hot location stats are. And
Here it
yeah,
is.
there it is.
Pulled up.
So it rips a card out of your hand on turn 5 at random. So you want to be having a bunch of high roll cards in your hand. So that's why I'll put Infinite in my hand, and I got Hulk and Abomination and She-Hulk, and Grand Central's going to hit something good. But I didn't really find, and I played against a lot of that too. Like a lot of people were running Magic as well, so it wasn't also wasn't just me doing that.
Oh, cool.
But I wasn't feeling that either. And then so I ended up settling. Oh, I also tried out a lot of Enchantress and a lot of Rogue to hard
Yeah.
counter the other Evo players.
Yes.
But sometimes they get really shifty with their Luke Cage, or you hide it behind a Cosmo or something. So
Yeah.
what I ended up settling on was, well, Shang-Chi is kind of always good because they got
Yeah.
to play Abomination or She-Hulk early. Like one 9 drops coming out before turn 6, and your
Yeah.
Shang-Chi is always going to be good. And if you pass turn 5, you could play like Shang-Chi She-Hulk or Shang-Chi She-Hulk Abomination turn 6, and you're crushing. Or even just Shang-Chi Luke Cage on 6, and
Yeah.
it's like really, really strong turn.
Yeah.
Sunspot gets some power, and it's really nice. So this is the deck I ended up settling on. It works really well. It's like pretty consistent, and yeah, you want to play Luke Cage turn 6, and it just does all the evil things. You're zapping the crap out of your opponent. You want to play Abomination early because they always have Luke Cage. So turn 3, turn 4, just drop your Abomination. Don't be scared, and rock and roll. It's great.
Yeah. What do you think about the Misty Knight in the deck? Because that's the card when I first
Yeah,
saw all these cards come out, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a piece of shit. Like that's not gonna be one that I think is gonna be good.
yeah.
What did you think? I played a
So
couple games with her and she seemed kind of okay.
I
I haven't played enough though.
So I originally made the deck without her because I thought the same thing as you. I did. I was trying out Shocker, and then I was also trying out Scorpion. You
Yeah.
figured obviously Scorpion, right? Scorpion felt mega underwhelming in here. Like I'm not gonna lie. Not
Yeah.
only are you running into all these Luke Cages, but they still have to play the card,
Yeah.
and is that for it to even count for your Abomination? And
Yeah.
by the time you play Scorpion, then the next turn they play the card, then it's like, okay, can I play a bomb? No, I'm still 1 power off. They got to play another card. So it's like you're like 3 turns out of maybe playing it.
Yeah.
You're by the time you want to play it, it's turn 5. He costs 5 anyway. That's
Yeah.
what he costs. He's a 5 cost.
Yeah.
So it's kind of shit, like. So I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? Let me try Misty. And you know what? She feels really good because you want to float mana like crazy in this deck, or
Yeah.
energy. I don't know what they call it in Snap.
Yeah. Man,
It's,
it's
it's
fine.
energy, right? In this
It's
game.
energy, yeah.
Yeah. So like say turn 2 or 3, Misty Knight gives you a float and juices up all your other cards. That's the main reason. So she kind of always gets off. She's like, you could just look at her. She's basically like a 1, 3.5.
Yeah.
One is always going to be like 1, 3, 1, 4, sometimes even more. But if you play her
Yeah.
on turn 1, you're not floating turn 1, so she doesn't get a boost on that. So
Yeah.
she's usually 1, 3, 1, 4, but just really good because she's specifically a 1 cost in here.
Yeah.
Maybe
And what
maybe Nebula's better. I don't know, actually, but
who
I
knows?
found her pretty clutch personally. I had
Okay.
a bunch of Sinister London matches, and you just throw Misty Knight, and she's just zapping
Oh wow.
everybody, and it's great. Or
Yeah.
cloning Vats, like shit like that. She's really nice.
The one a visual effect, this is not obviously anything to do with,
Mm.
strategy, but the thing, his was really cool. He starts throwing like
Oh,
fire hydrants and rocks at people.
yeah.
I loved it. I thought it was so hilarious.
I think
And
Secondary nailed it with this card. You know
oh
what's
yeah.
wild with the thing effect,
What?
kid? When they play Luke Cage, they have a separate animation where it kind of goes bing, 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 and it and
I
it
was
bounces off
I was
theirs.
gonna get I was just gonna say
It's
that next.
nuts. I
You
was
beat
rattled when I first saw that. I'm like,
you
wow, these
beat me
guys
to it.
like outdid themselves.
That's where I was going with this
Yeah,
thing. Yeah, because when you have Luke Cage, the fire hydrants and rocks bounce off the people like bung bung. It's a completely different animation, which is wild,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
hilarious and I love it.
10 out of 10 card design on this thing. I mean, super
Yeah,
fun. It feels
yeah,
really good. I think it's kind of bad into Galactus. But other than that, I think it's really good against basically any matchup. If they get Luke Cage, they get it, but you still have, you got She-Hulk, a bomb, you got a 20 power Hulk, like you got a ton of power, even if they play Luke Cage sometimes. So
yeah.
um yeah.
And they. What do you think about them just nerfing him hard right off the gate? High Evo.
So that definitely threw me for a loop because we talked about this on the last pod
Yeah,
where the second we saw, hey, he's a 4/7. This is obviously a Zabu 4 deck, right? No
yeah,
question. He's a
yeah,
7. You just play Zabu, you play all your fours. Like you probably don't even need Hulk in the deck. I'd probably put like Sarah instead of Hulk
yeah,
or
yeah.
something, just like let's just play all our fours. But now it's totally the opposite where you never want to play your Evo. It's actually
No,
miserable. When Grand
yeah,
Central hits your high Evo, it's miserable.
yeah.
So,
That happened to me a couple times. I'm like, oh,
yeah, it has to, right? Because he's always in your hand. Like he's
yeah,
like
yeah. It went from like
mathematically, he's getting hit at some
yeah.
point.
It went for it from like, oh, a 4/7, that's like unreal. I'm so
Yeah.
happy to play that. To like
Mhm.
now I'm like, oh man, this is just feels so bad if you
Oh,
gotta play
it's a
them.
it's a shittier crystal. Put it that way. Like it's horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, but I'm kind of glad they did it because I guess some of the devs were saying that when they were playing with the card, he was just broken as hell as a
yeah,
4/7. And then obviously he had to been broken as hell for them to nerf hammer 3 power right off the bat,
yeah, it's nuts. Yeah.
you know?
I think he's insanely powerful. Even just first impression, he feels stronger than Iron Lad to me, like just
Yeah.
right off the bat. I know it's two totally different cards. Iron Lad's gonna go in a million different archetypes,
Yeah.
but just this deck feels crazy, crazy powerful. You just
Yeah.
out like Wasp is nuts in here. Wasp
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
And
Uh,
it's just
yeah.
like, what's it called? It's like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours into the card being released.
Mhm.
Imagine when this gets optimized, like,
Yeah,
Luke
my
Cage is
deck
gonna
list
be in every
is
deck.
I know my deck list is shit, like, I know it is,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
everybody else's is shit too, so we're on even
yeah,
playing ground.
yeah, and I think, as well, the other thing I wanna talk about was the animation for High Evo too. It's really
Mhm.
cool as well.
Oh, it's kinda like Thanos, yeah, it's similar to
Yeah,
Thanos at the start of the game, yeah.
and all the cards are glowing too.
Oh, yeah, the
So
glowing's crazy,
yeah,
yeah.
so, like, if someone's playing High Evo, like, you see the Misty Knight come down and they're glowing, you're like, "Okay, it's not Patriot."
Yeah, it is nice
It's
to
kind of a
not have to
giveaway.
click on it. I would say as far as
Yeah.
animation, I wish they would add something like that with Iron Lad where, when he copies the card, it'd be nice to actually see the card
I
because you
think
have to
they
you have to click on him right now.
Yeah, I think they said that was a bug, and they're gonna fix that in the future.
Oh, okay, I
Like,
missed
for
saw
the
that.
like,
Yeah.
maybe not for you, like,
Mhm.
I think they're gonna leave the player one from what I understand,
Yeah, the player
because,
one's
like, you
fine, yeah.
you see him what he
Yeah.
copies,
Yeah.
but, like, the other person not seeing, that's a bug that they're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm talking
fix.
only playing against it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they're gonna,
it feels great when I play them for sure, yeah.
yeah, they wanna fix that. I think that's a known bug that they're like, "No, the other player should see what they copied as well."
Okay, yeah,
Instead
they're
of just clicking
they're
on it because
crushing it,
that's
man.
dumb. Yeah, yeah.
This card's
Uh
fantastic, but yeah, so that's pretty much all I gotta say on it. What do you think about him?
I only played with him for about half an hour before we did
Mhm.
this, but I
Yeah.
think he seems like a lot of fun.
Mhm.
And I want to play him more. I was just kind of getting into it and just I freaking played a lot of Galactus. I played like 4 or 5 Galactus in like the half an hour, and I'm like, oh, you just get wrecked by Galactus. There's just no way to win really.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you've
but
got, yeah, the I don't know if you could pass Prio. You can't really pass Prio, like, because I'm saying Hulk does get crazy in here. You
guess
can
what?
do a lot of power, but,
I
if they have
passed Prio.
Shang-Chi,
I
yeah.
passed Prio. The one game that I could pass Prio, I got
Mhm.
Spider Man. So
Yeah, and then yeah, that's any deck.
so I was
That's
like,
any deck against Galactus,
I
right?
know. I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna pass Prio, my Hulk's like a 20." I'm like,
Yes.
"This guy's screwed." And I have a Shang-Chi. I'm like, "Alright."
Mhm.
And then Spider-Man, I'm like, nice. -2 cubes for the kid."
Yeah. No,
And
I know.
go.
It's
But that's
uh,
alright.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just seems like a lot of fun. I love how they're bringing like a whole new archetype to the game. There's gonna be a
Mhm.
ton of new decks, ton of new things to do. So a bunch of different counters. Obviously, this hasn't even scratched the surface, and I can't wait to see like all the creators and everything. Put out a bunch of different cool decks to try.
There's gonna be some wild builds with this thing.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I was hearing Cozy talk about like he was gonna try it in bounce with Shocker, like
yeah,
just Evo and Shocker only in the deck, and just put it in a bounce deck, and you
yeah,
bounce the Shocker, and then you're like your left card is like you could control it pretty good in a bounce deck.
yeah, yeah,
And so you probably pretty consistently get your kitty to zero. And not only kitty to zero, but just like all your cards to zero. Even Black Widow to 1 or 0. Like, and you're just playing these cards every turn. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Seems kind of crazy. Like, it'd probably put Falcon in there too, right? And
I think um, I think Shocker is gonna be one of the most underrated cards, or the
mhm,
most like slept on cards. I think for the what's it called, for the high Evo decks. I think he maybe the general consensus that from what I've been like hearing and reading is that everyone thinks it's going to be underwhelming.
mhm.
But I mean, cost reduction in card games is always like it always ends up being broken. There'll be a way
Well,
that Shocker will be like,
well, in this game too. I mean, it always
yeah,
Sarah's been broken the whole time. I mean,
yeah,
they just had to change wave.
yeah,
It's for the She-Hulk death stuff. Like, even
yeah.
in this game, there's cost reductions ridiculous. Like, they had to nerf She-Hulk. Like, all so it's the same thing in this game too.
Exactly. So I think Shocker will be a slept on card that will I think in
Zabu,
like a few weeks we'll see his potential. Yeah, Zabu is still
Zabu
have a great
unreleased.
deck. Yeah, Zabu unreleased. Even Zabu now is still like
Yeah, Zabu now is still
ridiculous.
amazing. Yeah,
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 it's a great card.
mhm,
But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to play more on it. To be quite honest with you. So,
yeah,
let's talk about you just had an infinite climb.
yes,
So let's talk about some of the decks you use. So this one took you from 95 to infinite. Your Scrub Evo deck that you just put together
yeah,
in like 10 minutes.
yeah.
Um,
Not
nice.
even. Yeah.
I love it.
Put the card,
What do you
but
want to
I
talk
was
about?
switching cards like every game. I was like switching a card. Like
Yeah.
I go up like, all right, I don't like that card. Switch it. So it was yeah.
So
But
this
anyways, so this deck was this is Cozy's discard list.
So this is a
Ah,
discard list, not
yeah,
Mr. Negative. I have Mr. Negative here because I don't have Iron Lad, so it's
yeah.
Iron Lad instead of Mr. Negative. I'll
Mhm.
read out the list. There's Nebula, Morbius, the Collector, Swarm, Colleen Wing, Storm, Lady Sif, Iron Lad. Again, not Mr. Negative for people who are looking. Dracula, Modoc, Apocalypse, and America Chavez. Talk to me, no big deal.
Okay, so we talked a lot last week. I was playing stupid decks and I fell to 87. So I want to go back
My
to
story of
something.
my life.
Yeah. So I was at like 90. I think I went from 96 to 87 about 4 or 5 days ago.
Yeah,
I was up to 96, down to 87. And then so I want to play something stable, something I'm comfortable with. And then Cozy puts out this Cozy Snap, it's like the most popular YouTube channel,
yeah,
puts out this discard list. And I have the exact same one, but instead of Wolverine, he put Iron Lad. So same
yeah,
11 cards, but take out Wolverine, put in Iron Lad. And it's really nice because your collector gets hit a lot less from Colleen Wing. Like you have these plays where you can actually play Colleen Wing on turn 2 a lot more
yeah,
because you got kind of Wolverine out of there, so it's like one less 2 drop, I guess. You always want to hit Swarm, is what I'm trying to say. You play
yeah,
the Colleen, it gets the Swarm, you get 2 free Swarms, so you kind of always want that. And Wolverine's kind of the worst option out of those two. So adding Iron Lad instead gives you something else to do on turn 4. You don't always pull your Dracula,
yeah,
so it just feels really nice. And there's no bad hits, but there's some really good ones too. Like it's a really good deck. I mean, Iron Lad is like okay in here. He's kind of fun. Good power. Like you could play him into a storm lane. And I climbed with this deck from 87 to about 95. And it's just really solid. Storm is great against Galactus. So you do like a Storm in a different lane. You hope that I would say Galactus even is probably still not the best matchup for this deck. But you go into it, you see the Yondu, you see the Wolverine, you say, okay, I'm probably gonna lose a cube here. All right, just you tell yourself right at the start.
yeah,
But if a location comes up that says you can't play cards here, or cards that cost 4, 5, 6 can't be played here.
Yeah.
Then you storm the other lane, even if
Yep.
it's like blank or whatever,
Yep.
and now they can't play Galactus. So those are games where you can beat Galactus. You can try to YOLO with your Dracula because Dracula can't get Shang-Chi, but it's very, very risky.
Yeah.
You still might lose. With like Dracula hitting APOC, it's definitely possible. You can beat Galactus, but I'd say it's like a 60-40 matchup for Galactus.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's really good against all the other decks. I think with the Wave and the Sandman changes, the Kitty and the Stature decks got a lot weaker, and then just like a standard discard deck just feels more powerful. You don't care too much about Wave and stuff in this deck. Like you can just play one card at a time. That's when you would just play the Iron Lad. So if they're playing some Wave Sandman thing, you just
Yeah.
don't play Dracula because Dracula's probably hitting a swarm, you know?
Yeah.
So just
Exactly.
play Iron Lad, then play your Modoc, then you could play like 16 power Apocalypse on the final turn and just
Yeah.
win. Sandman
Yeah.
can't match that power. So
Yeah.
really, really strong deck. And then Central Park or whatever, what the hell's it called? Grand Central became the hot location. And I started getting absolutely body
Yeah.
bagged. This deck sucks in Central and
Well,
Grand
let me
Central.
just say that
Yeah.
I was around I think 85. I think I dropped myself down around 85, and
Mhm.
then I started playing a little bit of discard, not the Iron Lad version. I think I had. I'll pull up my version. Should be down here. Nebula. Iceman. I really liked Iceman into it.
Yeah,
I still
Iceman's good
have.
in discard for sure. Yeah.
Yes, because I always get screwed by him, so I like screwing people. So
Also
that
good
was
against
my.
Galactus as well. It helps
Yeah.
you in the bad matchup. You could hit the ramp
Yeah.
card like you're laughing.
And I had Wolverine as well. So I played a little bit of this, and it got me from 85 to 90 actually. And then
Mhm.
I started playing dumb stuff. I think I'm at 87 or 88 right now. Especially with high Evo stuff, I was just being an idiot and snapping and
Yeah,
being stupid.
what's crazy with Iceman in this deck is, a lot of those like Galactus decks that you're having a hard time with, a lot of their cards are 6 costs, and so Iceman is
Yeah.
like very likely to hit a very important card in their hand because it can't touch. The way it works is it can't make a card 7 cost. If it's six,
Yeah.
now that card can't be hit. So
Yeah.
Death, Null, Galactus, all don't get hit. So and even if you hit their Doc Ock,
That's what
making
I
him
mean. Yeah.
6 cost is
Yep.
really, really good. So,
It's amazing
uh,
for you.
yeah, so this deck is like Iceman's super like clutch in here in ways like
Yeah.
some people don't even realize, I think.
Yeah. You hit their Spider Man, they can't screw you on turn 5.
Yeah, like you that might just win you the game outright. Yeah. And you
Yeah.
might not even know it.
Yeah.
You got to believe in your Iceman when you play this deck.
Exactly. Well, I guess I misspoke. I guess if Spider Man was still 5, they can still play the Spider Man on turn 5 and screw you.
Oh
It
yeah,
doesn't
true.
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wrecks the Doc
But
Ock
yes, the Doc Ock, which is
and the
yeah,
ramp
big.
options.
And
Yeah.
yeah, if you hit the Electro too, like
Oh, that's the dream. You want to hit the ramp. Yeah, that's
yeah,
why he's in there, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
And then Grand Central came along again with these friggin' hot locations that suck.
Yeah,
Um,
so I got kind of lucky with this one. I think a lot of people saw Grand Central, and I figured they would say, "Oh, I'm just gonna play Lockjaw or something like that," right? A bunch of high roll stuff.
yeah,
Um, but they decided, a lot of people were playing Sandman, and so I just lucked my way into. I was playing Hella because I was like, "Well, I'm already playing discard." And this is a deck. I think it was on. I want to say this guy named Boots. He's a YouTube guy. He made
yeah,
a video called. If you go type in 17 decks to hit infinite, literally like the number 17,
yeah,
it'll come up. It's one of the 17 decks. He basically just went on Twitter and said, "What? How did people get infinite?" So
yeah.
one guy on Twitter made this deck. I like hella discard, so I figured, okay,
Oh,
let me
hella
have an
discard is
open
just
mind
fun.
and
It's really
yeah,
fun.
I find it really fun. I think it's pretty good and underrated too. But I'm only using my own builds. I've never copied a build on Hella discards. So I figured,
Yeah,
okay, let me copy this guy's build. And it's perfect for Grand Central because it's way more high, bunch of 6 power cards, crazy. Like there's insane hits in here. Doctor Doom,
yeah.
Odin. Actually, kid, you want to read out the deck?
Yeah, let me read out the
Yeah.
deck. So this is
Yeah.
No Big Deal's Gila Grand Central that he used to climb
Not my
through
deck.
the
I stole
ranks.
I stole this one, not mine. Yeah.
No big
Yeah.
deal that he stole, that he used.
Mhm.
um, mostly we steal. So we have Blade, Moon Knight, Lady Sif, Black Cat, Jubilee, Captain Marvel, Doctor Doom, Gila, Odin, Magneto, Infinite, Death.
Yeah, so this deck was just crushing for me. Like this was I was smooth sailing infinite. So I was at 95. Grand Central came out and I dropped to 93 playing my other deck. So I
Mm,
started playing this and just dummied everybody from 93 to 99. And
yeah.
then I literally had to go to work. Like it was this morning and I had a bunch of meetings today too. So I actually just couldn't play. Like it is what it is. Like I had
Yeah.
like 7:30.
It
Like I had a
is
meeting.
what
Like
it is.
yeah. So I couldn't even like sometimes you could like fuck off and play at work. Like this just wasn't
Yeah.
one of those days.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? It's fine. It's 99. It's 7 more cubes. I'll just do it when I get home. Whatever. And
Yeah.
so 93 to 99. And then when I finally get some free time, like around 4 o'clock today, I started playing this deck and I just started getting bodied by high evo decks. So
Oh,
I'm playing these cards. I'm like, oh shit, high evo's out. I bought them, but I'm like, let me get the infinite first, then I'll mess around with high evo.
yeah.
So I dropped all the way down to 95 again because Wasp was hitting me. The thing was throwing his barrels at me. It was just ridiculous. Like I couldn't keep up with these stupid high evo decks. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I gotta play high evo. Got my
Yeah.
Luke Cage, put my Luke Cage in there, like get my Enchantress Rogue. Like we're doing this. We're gonna join the Clown Fest, and
Yeah.
then the rest was the one we went through at the beginning. So that was
Oh,
it. That was my last week playing Snap. I'll probably take a little bit of a break the next 2-3 days.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope I get to play more. I
Mhm,
was a little, I hate working that much, but it
mhm,
happens.
mhm,
But yeah, there's a one deck that I found that I played a little bit of. I think Snapster put it on. It was called Surf and Destroy.
mhm.
And I was playing a little bit of Silver Surfer
Oh, because
earlier
Venom
on
and
in the week.
Deathlock are three. Makes sense.
Yeah, and
They're
this
threes.
deck, I'll read this out. It's Nova,
Mhm,
Bucky Barnes, Carnage, Wolverine, Brood, Silver Surfer, Killmonger, Venom, Sabretooth, Deathlock, Maximus, and Sarah.
mm,
I only played like 3 or 4 games with this. I think I won them all.
mhm,
Maybe I retreated on one, but I mean, it felt really good.
mhm.
Especially the surfer at the end. People don't expect it when you're playing Venom and like Bucky Barnes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's just I you know me. I love destroy. I
yeah.
love destroying stuff. And then
Mhm,
I've this week been having a lot of fun with Surfer. I'm still not good with Surfer by any means. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So like
mhm,
I'll lose some cubes. And there's some times where like I really just like outplay people with Surfer and I feel so good about myself. And there's
mhm.
other times where I just don't know how to count and I lose a bunch of cubes. But
Yeah,
we won't talk about those times.
yeah,
I think I've sent you a few screenshots where I'm like, dude, this guy just got outplayed hard.
yeah.
But this deck, combines the destroy, and then you get to play the surfer at the end. Yeah, and it's insane because they're all 3 costs and they all get buffed, so it's great. And I didn't know how I felt about the saber tooth at first.
I was gonna say I didn't even
Um,
think of Sabretooth. Yeah, he's a destroy card too.
yeah, but I actually drew him in like all the games, and
Mhm,
when I played him, again, this is like a 5 game sample size, but
mhm,
I'm very familiar with this archetype anyway.
mhm.
Uh, the saber tooth felt pretty good. It was
Yeah.
great. There
Mhm.
was one game where I played him because this is just, I just played a little bit. And he got I put him in a lane. There was 3 cards in the lane, and the thing came down, and then they all hit the saber tooth that I destroyed. Then I destroyed hhim, and then he was a 3-1 or like a 0-1. I was like, oh man,
He
this
turned
feels
into a
bad.
wasp.
He turned into a wasp, yeah. Uh, but uh, but yeah, the thing when he throws his things, he reminds me of Donkey Kong from like the old Donkey Kong
Yeah,
like
it
Mario
throws the
games,
barrels,
throwing his
yeah.
barrels. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this deck's fun. I mean, you're an infant now. You got to try this deck. I know
Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
like
mess around
Surfer.
with High
I
Evo
gotta
too.
play more Surfer stuff, yeah, and this looks like the funnest
It's dude, it's
Surfer
so
deck I've
fun.
ever seen,
Yeah,
like
this is funner. This is for me. This is more fun than like the typical like Sarah Surfer. And the Sarah Surfer is fun. Where's my other Sarah Surfer here? Yeah,
yeah,
this is the one I was using. It
normal
is fun.
control normal Surfer deck's usually very control-y, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, if you could be destroying stuff like that is more fun than controlling, at least I think, but,
Yeah, me too. Me too.
yeah.
I 100% think so
Some
too.
people love control though, so, power to them.
Yeah, yeah,
I like it too, but, destroy's crazy, man.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that was, my week was kind of not the most exciting. At least you got infinite, so that's good.
We did it.
Um, you did it, no big deal.
Super Snap Bros. We did it.
Super Snap Bros, baby. What do you think about the hot location? We kind of talked about it, but I know we had a little rant on it last week, but once again, like, man, I just want to play and have fun. These stupid
Well, see, this
locations.
is kind of rough because you're exactly. You're playing this Surf or Destroy deck. This deck is dog shit on this location. You can't
Yeah.
like, you can't have your cards getting pulled out into locations you don't want them to go. You got a bunch of twos and threes, like, you know, I don't know. I don't like it, man.
Well, that's
It's
what was
like,
happening last
yeah,
night because I actually had some time to play last night a little bit,
yeah.
and then this thing popped up at 8 p.m. because I'm working nights. So like, when I have a little lull at work, I can play this, and yeah, Grand Central. I'm like, oh, all the decks I wanted to play, I can't. Very nice.
I watched back our rant from the last pod. I don't always watch back, but I was curious. The pods are starting to get pretty good, so I wanted to watch it.
Yeah,
And the one thing we didn't say is just I just want to say, like, I think a good way to spice the game up is new game modes. You can add like an arena into the game. You could do like on the ladder. You could make the just normal ladder better. Like you could do a leaderboard on the top of the ladder.
yeah, they're going to do
Um,
that.
yeah, and even maybe give a reward, like do a top 10. So you have educated Collins is number one. He gets 1,000 tokens or something, and it's a
Yeah,
display. Everyone can see it. Even people who aren't in Infinite can just click, oh, leaderboard, and you just see the top 10, and
yeah,
you see their rankings.
they're going to do that. They've already said they're going to do that.
Oh, they
They're
are
gonna
doing okay.
Yeah, they're going to eventually. I don't know when, but they're going to eventually for when you hit infinite,
Mhm.
then your MMR is going to be visible, and then that's going to be a leaderboard. So you'll see the highest. There'll be. I think there'll be like your MMR, and then like some other score. I forget they said.
Mhm.
But it'll be like your rank, and then it'll be a leaderboard just for
Yeah,
once you hit infinite.
yeah. So I think just instead of doing hot locations,
Oh
I,
God, I
I
know.
just think stuff like that would be better. Throw a
Yeah,
surprise card out there. Hey, surprise extra card this month. Boom.
yeah,
Like hot new card. I don't know.
yeah.
Uh,
You know
oh,
what?
well, that hot card. Pick an underused card. Hey, this card has +1 power now for 24 hours. Good luck.
No, no, no. That'll be
You're
dumb
right,
as
because
well. I don't
that
want to do
basically
that.
is the hot location, right?
Yeah, I
So
don't
yeah,
want
let's
that.
let's X that. You're right. No,
Uh,
no,
I I
no to
oh,
that as well.
I want to say I don't want to be completely negative this whole time, but
Yeah,
like the we did have the one good location, Fogwell's Gym. That was amazing. I want more locations like that. The one where
yeah,
like when you play, you get double the boosters.
yeah, yeah.
So just like that was great. How good was
Mhm,
that? It's just a location where you can play. You can actually play your cards into it, and
mhm.
then I was like, we were bro fisting people in the games. Like everyone's bro fisting each other. Like, oh, Fogwell's Gym
Yeah.
comes up, we pound each other. Like, yeah, nice. And then
I
there
just
was
liked it because you could play cards on it. You know,
yes,
it
yes,
was
and then you get
it wasn't like Krakoa where you just
oh
ruins your game.
god, yeah, and then like there was a few times where oh man, what the hell is that location's name that it like ruins one of the other locations? This is like Los Diablos or I forget.
Yeah, and then it turns into the ruins. Yeah,
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 yeah. So there was a few times where that happened and it destroyed the Fogwell's Gym, and like
yeah.
we would get sad together, me and whoever I'm playing with.
I felt bad because I was playing the discard deck, and like
Yeah.
half the time I just ended up playing my storm on that location. I was
Oh
like,
no,
I'm
you were
sorry,
one of those people
dude. I'm trying to get to infinite. I
taking away
can't.
the
No mercy.
boosters. You can't do that.
Fuck your boosters.
Well, I had something a lot worse happen to me this last week actually. It's like a Marvel Snap Mortal Sin. Um, got ego.
Uh-oh.
I snapped. The other guy did not.
Oh,
No snap on ego.
that's a little too sweaty. I still snap on ego no matter what.
You
Always.
have to.
Always. I haven't got ego in a long time, like a month at least, I think.
Yeah, I snapped immediately.
Mhm.
Immediately snapped, and he didn't snap.
Yeah, you gotta snap on ego.
Yeah, it
It's
was.
just is what it is. Even if I'm at 99.6, I'm snapping on ego.
Oh, I don't care. Even if I'm
Yeah,
like grinding and I'm doing well, and then
yeah,
like
yeah,
ego comes up, I'm like, it's just those are the rules.
yeah.
You have to. And
Those
then
are the
now,
rules.
but like now, kind of like I think we talked about this one of our pods, but like now it's like. amazing because when you both snap on ego, it's like it's for a full rank now. It's like
Yeah,
I'm either going up a rank or I'm
true.
losing a whole rank. Like
Yeah.
it's more intense. I love it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, you know, again, the hot locations, if they're good locations, it's fine, but like this Grand Central, like the ones that force you to play a certain type of deck, I just can't stand them anymore. It just really bothers me.
Yeah, I don't like them. Let's get some mini games. Let's get
Yeah,
some stupid game modes. Like,
yeah,
if we want to do like dumb stuff that isn't like different than Marvel Snap, like let's do it like that. This is like there's only one way to play the game right now,
yeah.
and when you have hot locations, you totally ruin that one way. The only way we're allowed to, well, that and or play head to head with friends or whatever that's called. I
The
forget.
battle mode or whatever.
Yeah, so you have
Yeah,
two ways, but you need a friend for that. Not everybody has friends. Okay, so.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't.
Not everybody can schedule, a time to play each other, even if they have friends. People
Yeah,
are busy. So,
exactly.
yeah, I
Or
don't
it's
like
like
this
make
hot
it
location
casual
stuff.
mode. Make it casual mode. I have hot location every day. Like,
There you
you
go.
know.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, some
Yeah,
casual mode, hot locations, all kinds of wacky stuff you could do in there, not in this stuff.
yeah, yeah. Well, we won't rant about that anymore.
Mhm,
But let's talk about. I think we kind of mentioned this, to each other before, but I think let's talk about some cards in the game right now that we think could use a little love, maybe some
mhm,
underplayed cards that we would maybe personally like to see more of and a little bit better.
mhm.
Um, do you want to start off or do you want me to start off?
Sure, I'll go because mine's not too deep.
Okay, mine's
Um,
not that deep, but I mean, just there's two that I kind of want to see a little bit that I want to play
I
more.
a couple pods ago, we talked in at length about Galactus, and I
Yeah,
think we both had some really cool ideas about how they could change Galactus. So for that, I don't want to be redundant and talk about him anymore. Or I don't really want to talk about nerfs like Leech or whatever, Sandman. I don't want to talk about these, kind of,
yeah,
cancerous cards or whatever. So I kind of want to just do buffs only. I
yeah,
think there's a lot of cards in the game that literally just give them +1 power, and I think it's just like a better game. Like what they did with Venom was phenomenal. What they did with Orca was awesome. And I would like to see cards. I got four listed here: Punisher,
yep,
Medusa, Nick
yep,
Fury, Agatha.
yeah,
I think Agatha +2. I think, and the other three I'd like to see +1. Nick Fury 5/8. I think would be fine. Medusa. I think you don't give her +1, but you just give her like an extra +1 if she's in the middle.
yeah,
So she's still a 2/2, or make her a 2/1 +4 if she's in the middle. Either one I think would be better than what she is now.
yeah,
And Punisher just a straight +1, just make him a 3/3. I don't know what's going on. So that
yeah.
those are mine. Just off the top of my head. I don't
I
know what to do with
don't.
Quicksilver because he's kind of weird. So I just stuck to these. Let's get the easy ones out of the way first, and then you can deal with the more complicated stuff
Yeah,
that messes around with deck consistency, which I know they're very sensitive about.
yeah. I mean,
Understandably so.
I'm surprised they haven't changed Punisher yet.
Hmm.
Like Captain America is just strictly better.
Yeah.
Captain
Yeah.
America is a 3/3 ongoing that you actually control.
Mhm.
So not only do you control it, so you can make it better, but it's even more stats. Like
Mhm.
Punisher, shouldn't be a 3/4, but like it's a worse effect than Captain America's, and he's weaker.
Mhm.
So it's like because you can't control if he has other cards, if they people have other cards in the lane, right?
Yeah, and you got Mr. Fantastic at the same, price too, right? So
So much better.
he's yeah, and he gets to locations you can't reach, and
Yep.
like
Gives you
if they can't
priority.
kill the card, like the Gambit or something, or I guess they can, but anyway, it's just like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't know, it
No,
just
I
feels really bad.
I agree with that. I agree with
Mhm.
most of those. Nick Fury
Mhm.
for sure. 5'8". Let the boy be a 5'8",
Well, yeah, he's still not gonna get played, but let's just get him. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be played a little bit, but
Well,
like
Collector
he
got
won't be
buffed. Yeah,
he certainly won't be overpowered. He
yeah.
certainly won't be overpowered.
Mhm.
You said Agatha make a 16? I don't know.
You don't
I
know?
don't
She
I don't know
sucks. Have
about
you played
Agatha.
Agatha decks?
No.
Yeah, she's awful, man. Like, I don't know. I've played a good amount of Agatha. She was one of the first pool 3 cards I got,
Yeah.
and, she came out, like, uh, right at the start of the Zabu season, so I had pre-patch Zabu, so I played, like, a lot of Agatha, and she's awful, man. She's just a horseshit card. I mean, you just played Ego. You just talk about Ego. It's literally Ego every game, but
Yeah,
only you.
yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't mind her being buffed, honestly, to like a
Yeah,
15 even to try.
I'd like to just run into an actual Agatha player, not like some like bot farmer, on the ladder.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
someone just seriously just playing Agatha. I think it'd be cool.
Who was the other one you said? The other fourth one?
Medusa.
Oh yeah, Medusa. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Cards you like never see. Buff
Yeah,
them. Like you said,
yeah.
I like even if she's like a what is she right now? Is she a two
And
two and
I
then
think
plus
she's two
two?
two plus two in the middle.
Yeah, I think 2/2 plus 3 is fine.
Yeah, and if
Yeah.
they're worried about it, try 2/1
No,
plus 4. Like, just
you
try
can't
it.
be.
Like,
You just can't be worried about that. There's just no way.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
There's yeah, because you have to. It's restrictive. You have to play in the middle. Like the middle could be Sanctum, and you won't. Maybe you can't even play her.
Yeah,
Plunder
exactly.
Castle. More whatever. There's a lot of things where you wouldn't be able to play her in the middle.
Mhm.
Space Throne. You're not gonna throw a friggin' Medusa in the Space Throne.
Maybe rock and roll.
Maybe that plus 3.
Counter
Um,
the Polaris. They're gonna play Polaris. I gotta throw my Medusa. We're tying, baby.
exactly, exactly. The two I'd like to see. So the first one is less what I want to see, but I mean, I still want to play her. It's Electra.
Mm,
Um, I think a 1/1 is just too weak for her, man.
yeah.
I think a 1/2 is fine. Because it'd be cool to throw her in as more of a tech card with all these like good one drops coming out now, like Kitty, Iceman, Nebula, Sunspot. A 1/1 just feels like crap.
I have an idea for Electra, but this just came to me, so let me know if it sounds stupid. What if it said kill a random enemy one drop? Doesn't have to be at that location.
Hmm, that would be kind of cool.
Would it be worse, you think? Because it's less targeted, but more versatile. I don't know.
Mm, actually, yeah, no, actually, yeah, because then you can't target it, right? It's interesting, but
What
then
if
why
she
would you want
kills what if she's a 1/0 and she kills 2?
that could be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Or
But
you could
there's
just make
not
her a 1 or you could just make her a 1/2 like you said, and let's see.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah, the killing 2, then like how many decks do you have a bunch of one drops out, I guess it'd be a tech card, but still.
I don't know.
But I think
Not
just
two
make her
daggers, I
1/2
don't
and
know.
see if she gets played a little more.
Yeah.
I don't know. The other one, this is the one like I kind of feel like I want to play this card a lot more, and I'm
Mhm.
sad that he's very weak. Maybe he's not that weak, but like I think he can use a little love.
Mhm.
Absorbing Man.
Mm.
He's a 4/3. Iron Lad's
Yeah.
a 4/6 for Christ's sake.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
he is targeted, I know. Like you
Mhm.
can target Absorbing Man, but like a 4/3 just feels horrible.
Yeah, he might be a casualty from the old Zabu days, and they just haven't
Yeah.
got back to him
Did
because
they nerf him?
he was broken with Zabu. That like everyone was playing Spider-Man absorbing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Obviously, as a 2 cost, he's insane.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But
ridiculous.
he's not that anymore, and now nobody really plays him. I mean, this
No, I'm saying
Hazmat
like
deck is really inconsistent too, and Absorb Man makes it more inconsistent.
yeah, like make him
Um,
a 4/4 or something.
yeah, I'd like a +1 on absorbing. That's a good
Like
idea.
like Enchantress got some love, right? Like
Yeah.
4/6 was obviously too much. He's a 4/5 with a sweet effect. I mean, he's a 4/3 with a pretty cool effect, but like he's a 4/3, man. Like
I'd be interested with absorbing if he was a 3 cost. Shadow King they put down to a 3 cost. I wonder if absorbing could be a 3.
maybe like a
Um,
3/2 then or something. He'd have to
yeah,
be
like a
weaker.
3/2,
A
exactly.
3/3 would be too strong, I think, for him.
4 is kind of crazy for that card
Yeah. I mean,
because
Mystique's a 3, right? And she copies the ongoing.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So he could copy an on reveal. He could be a 3/1 or a 3/0 and copy
Mhm.
the on reveal,
Having him as
right?
a 4, like you have to play him late in the game. Which kind of feels bad. So I wonder if you
Yeah.
made him a 3 cost. All the Surfer players would run him. Oh, you actually play Silver Surfer absorbing. Actually, that's probably broken. Uh, yeah, uh, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you make him a 3/0 then or something like that.
Yeah, or like you
With
said, just
Mystique.
make him a 4/4. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, something like because
Yeah.
I would really like to play that card a little more because he is a lot
Mhm,
of fun, and you
mhm.
can the possibilities with him are endless, like weird combos and stuff. There's a lot of fun to play, but
Yeah,
just the 3 power just feels like crap, honestly.
it feels rough. Yeah.
It really does.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like you said, I don't really have too many nerfs. that I care about. I know. Oh, we can get into this actually.
Yeah.
The devs recently just said that they're probably going to nerf Galactus. I think I have this pulled up. Let me see.
It's really the only card in the game
Yeah,
I'd wanna
there we go.
see
I did have this.
nerfed, to be honest, and I don't even think it's overpowered, I just don't like playing
Yeah.
against it.
Oh, and I had and I had it. I love playing him, but yeah, playing
Yeah.
against him is annoying. So like I get it.
Mhm,
But I don't like playing the classic Galactus deck. I like playing
mhm,
other weird Galactus decks.
mhm.
But yeah, I'll tell you because I think we only talked about this off the pod, but like my idea for a change in Galactus, which I really loved. I'll talk about it after this.
I thought it was on
Um,
the pod, where you killed
no,
1
no,
location on each side?
no, we never talked about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
this says this person on Discord asked, it says today at 4:59. I don't know when that today was. It was a couple days ago, probably. Um, a while ago, this is a Discord to the devs, so I'm going to read it. A while ago, you pointed out that Galactus hasn't reached the threshold you set for him, and that threshold is much lower than for regular cards. Now, my question is, has he crossed that line? He has been the most popular deck in the game since the beginning of the previous season, and his play rate, in brackets, at least according to third party sources that are available to regular players like Untapped, has been oscillating between 8% and 12%. Glenn, one of the devs, mentioned, yes, his play rate hasn't subsided as we'd hoped. We've reviewed ways we can adjust his card to better accomplish our goals. So it looks
Mm,
like the Nerf hammer is coming to the big boy.
yeah.
So my idea was, and we talked about a bunch of ideas, but my main idea was if the card text, let me go back to the game screen. I'll pull them up. Um, don't have anyone. Negative Galactus list. So his card text says on reveal, if this is your only card here, destroy all other locations. So my idea is keep the almost the same text. Say if this is your only card here, destroy the locations on either side of him.
Mhm,
So that way, everything's more telegraphed,
mhm.
right? You could still put him in the middle and he destroys all the other locations, but then like you'll know that if he's going in the middle, and then you can play Cosmo there, you can play Polaris, you can actually like ruin the setup. You don't have to take 50/50s. So it's way less annoying. It's much easier to counter in that way. And then if he plays on the sides, if you play him on the left, he only destroys the middle location. If you play him on the right, he only destroys the middle location. So you can
Yeah.
still have two other lanes,
Mhm.
so it's not a complete, wash for you. So you can actually play for other lanes and stuff like that. I think that's a good change where you still get the killing of the killing of world effect, which is the most fun part about him, is when you play him, he's like,
Yeah, and I mean,
just
he li it's
destroy
literally
everything.
what the villain does, right? Like, it's, like,
Yeah.
very accurate to the lore. He kills planets. That's just what
Yeah.
he does?
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
I think I don't know. I think that's personally for me a cool change for him that like would still kind of keep his flavor. I still think people would be happy with that. I don't think that it would really upset too many people because the people that hate Galactus, you still have some counterplay. It's way more telegraphed.
Mhm.
And, if he destroys one location, you still can play for two locations, right?
Mhm.
And then the people that play Galactus, who love Galactus, even me included, you still get to destroy stuff, which I just like destroying stuff in this game.
Yeah. I was gonna say
So
that's the main thing, because I was building off I think we talked about my idea then on the pod, where it
but
was
you just
just
said to the right.
kill the location to the right.
Yeah.
Either one of these changes, like yours does this too, where it makes it so that you're actually playing a game of Marvel Snap now, which is kind
Yeah.
of nice. Like for the Galactus player, it's not a straight nerf to the card, like it's a nerf,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it also gives you some play where you're not just brain dead and playing Wave, Galactus, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
GG,
Yeah.
or whatever, right? Death Null, all that shit. So, or Electro, Doc Ock, whatever, Electro, Hobgoblin, Galactus. It's the same single line. It's like the Shuri, Red Skull, Taskmaster,
Yeah.
whatever. It's like stupid.
Yeah.
But it takes all that out of it, and if your opponent is like committing a lot to one location, say they're committing a lot to the middle, then you could just blow that up and like just play the game normally, right? So, and you might be building your deck completely different with Galactus if it's kill to the right or kill the
Yeah.
locations on either side of them. So,
Yeah.
um, it gives you as the Galactus player like some flexibility too. Like you could make some crazy plays. It enables your death still you still play death and null, but Spider-Man doesn't make you completely miserable. But
Yeah.
Spider-Man's still a pretty good card because if there's only two locations, it still matters, right? So,
Yeah, and if you're still playing, like, Electro and stuff, like, then
mhm,
if you don't blow up that lane, you just lose it, and if you
mhm,
are trying to blow up the Electro lane, that means
mhm,
you're playing in the middle, which means that's telegraphed. So you
yeah,
just play a Cosmo, Polaris, anything you know that it's coming in the middle.
mhm,
It's not like you're 50-50ing with the other location.
yeah.
So, like, it's much easier to counter.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even mind if they buffed his power if they did something like that, like make him a 6/4 or something, just if they wanted. Like I don't know, I wouldn't care. Like I said, but the
Yeah, I don't
way he
care
is
either.
now, you can't play in Marvel Snap, and with the move cards coming next month, Galactus is so obnoxious
Yeah,
for move decks.
yeah.
You're playing a move deck, you are dead. Well, you have Arrow, I guess, but not. They don't even all run Arrow. Like
No, I
you might
know.
have to cut Arrow to optimize
Yeah,
move. But
yeah.
if you're playing against Galactus, well, GG.
Yeah, it's sad because I love this card. He's so cool, but like, yeah, there's too much of him. It's just too obnoxious to play against
Mhm,
when there's too much. Once in a while, I think it's completely fine. But the more I'm playing, the more I'm seeing them, and it's like, yeah, they're absolutely right. Like, it's just there's too many people playing him. Um, like the obnoxious versions. Like, I was playing like negative Galactus. I think I put a video out the other day of negative Galactus, which is like hilarious deck to play. It's fun. Half the time you're not playing Galactus, but sometimes when you do, it's hilarious. It's a two
mhm.
six. But like, yeah, the Spider-Man version and stuff is just like you see the yonder, you're like, oh god, I'm just leaving. Like, I don't want to deal with it.
There is stuff like this in a lot of games where it's like you either have the thing to deal with it or you don't. And
Yeah,
then you're not really actually playing the game. It's like, okay, do I have the counter? Okay, no, I lose. Or yes, I do, and I win. And it's like there's no like in between, there's no nuance. That's usually just not good for games in general.
yeah, yeah. And but like him with him and with Galactus specifically, like
Mm,
it forced you to like not be able to play because when you destroy the
mm,
other locations, like you're
mm,
screwed. There's
yeah.
nothing you can do. At least
Mm,
like if you're playing like other decks like Patriot and stuff, like even if you don't have Enchantress, like you can still like play in the other locations and
yeah.
maybe do some stuff, maybe
Mhm,
to win. But like with this, you just can't.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess it seems like they're changing him.
Mhm,
So what that change will be, I don't know.
mhm.
I just hope I hope he still gets to destroy stuff and yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I'd still love if he blows up at least one planet.
Yeah,
Shit, kill
exactly.
a random planet. I don't know. Even make it so he can't. He doesn't have to be the only card there, but he just kills a random planet. Maybe the one you play him on. Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, it doesn't have to be the only one. Just throw him down and destroys the random.
Yeah,
That'd be so bad. That would be so bad.
yeah, that'd be terrible. I guess
It's such
maybe
a
a
bad
planet that
card.
he's not on. I don't know.
That'd be such a bad card.
Yeah, I think I still
Um,
like mine of one to the right, but yours is really good too. Of
yeah,
uh, locations on either side of them. I think both those are awesome, and would strongly prefer them to the current iteration of them.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I guess do you want to do some stonks? Do you have anything? And we kind of just talked the other day, and High Evo came out, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, with the snap stonks,
You got
and
some stonks,
obviously,
maybe?
with this segue, I do think Galactus is, I hate to say it, he's already so popular.
Yeah.
But the win rate's still not crazy, right? I think the win
No.
rate's good against high evo. The high evo deck just naturally can't run too much to deal with Galactus. I think Cosmo's probably like I didn't explore Cosmo because I was only playing high evo mirrors. Um, but I think Cosmo specifically to protect your Luke Cage and your 9 drops already. So you kind of, you're against I was playing Shang-Chi in my deck. If other people catch on, start playing Shang-Chi, like Cosmo's gonna be good for that too, right? So
Yeah.
that's one thing, but just having a Cosmo in your deck doesn't mean you're beating Galactus all the
No.
time too. Like
Because a lot of
Polaris,
times you're 50
yeah,
50ing.
you're 50-50. Like Debris is not a 50-50, right? So
Yeah.
there are, Arrow's not really a 50-50, but Cosmo kind of is. So
Yeah.
um maybe that would be the evolution, but I think Galactus right now, with all the high evolutionaries running around, is really strong. And I hate to say it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm,
No, I 100% agree with you, and
mhm.
yeah, it's high time. Oh, this card gets. I hope they don't kill this card when they change it because I love. He's so much fun to play.
Yeah, I hope they don't leader him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That would be so sad. I don't think they
Mhm,
will because he's a big bad.
mhm,
But I guess we'll see. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think he stonks too. Because yeah, and to your point, like just the high evo, the half an hour that I played before this podcast, the only time I got to play with high evo, I ran into 4 or 5 Galactus people. I got
Oh, no.
owned every time.
Yeah, you
The
can't
only
do
the
anything.
only time that I had that I threw priority, I got
Mhm.
Spider Man.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, "Oh, I have a 620 Hulk. He is
Mhm,
screwed." And I'm
mhm,
like, the null, I think the amount of death was like 8 points or something. It wasn't anything
mhm,
crazy. So I'm like, "Oh, his null's nothing." I'm like, "All right, I can actually get this because I had a Shang-Chi ready
mhm,
and and the Hulk
mhm.
and just got Spider-Man." And I was like, all right."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, everyone, there's no way this high Evo can
mhm,
compete with him.
yeah.
It's just it feels bad, man. Feels bad, man.
And it's definitely not natural. You'd have to totally tech your deck out to deal with it for sure.
Yeah, and then at that point, it's like, not a high evo deck. You're just like,
No, yeah.
might as well play
Mhm.
Silver Surfer, who has all the tech cards against Galactus.
Exactly, yeah, it does. Yeah, Silver Surfer dummies Galactus.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one thing playing Surfer, that's I was beating all the Galactus players.
Lights it up. Yeah, the control
I was like, "Yep,
decks, Surfer decks, they dummy this Galactus deck for sure.
yeah, yeah."
My other stonks was just I wanted to pick the card at least for my hour ish of playing high evo, hour and a half hour. Just which I want to just randomly try to pick the card that feels the most cracked out of all of them.
The high
And I
evo
think
cards, so the high evo stonks.
yes, so just
Alright, let's do that,
specifically,
yeah.
so
Yeah, yeah,
between Wasp, Misty, Shocker,
yeah,
Cyclops, Thing, a bomb and Hulk.
yeah,
I think that Abomination feels the best right now. I don't know. It
yeah,
just feels crazy. It's really, really easy to have him pop off. Like even if you reduce one card, he's a 4/9. Like it's crazy.
yeah. I think you're absolutely right. A bomb is
Mhm.
the obvious early front runner, it seems.
Mhm.
My high evo stonks will be Shocker. I think that's
Mm.
gonna be, long-term capital gains.
Get in
Buy
early. Yeah,
Yeah,
buy in early
it is
while
a
you
good thing.
can.
I
Yeah.
think I think in, a few weeks or so, I could be completely wrong. I don't know what the hell I'm
Mhm.
talking about half the time.
Mhm.
But I think that he would be one where he would be, 'cause just the cost reduction is great. If you can control that. If you don't have high evo on the leftmost side,
Mhm.
then you're okay.
Yeah.
What about not stonks? High evo not stonks. Which ones do you
Even
think?
if you have high Evo on the left, I just want to say it. That's just Maximus saying they don't. Oh no, no, it's not 3/7
No, it's
anymore.
not. It's
No.
3-4. It says old
Oh no,
Cyclops.
no, no, no.
Old Cyclops.
Oh god, Kingpin without the effect. Oh no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Cyclops.
Yeah, yeah, it's old Cyclops. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And but no Patriot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like old Cyclops without Patriot.
Horrible.
Yeah, not stonks. I mean, Cerebro. The cards get reduced. Now you can't play the game. I actually played against a Cerebro player on the climb.
Poor guy.
I think he's playing the Luke Cage angle. He's playing
Yeah, yeah,
C2.
yeah,
But if you don't get Luke Cage, you lose. You just straight
yeah.
up lose. So
And
and a lot of times
for
you don't.
we've said for the last 2 weeks, Luke Cage is stonks, and
Yeah.
I still stand by that. I just don't want to
Yeah.
mention him
Oh,
again.
he's
I can't wait to see now, like over the next week, like Luke Cage and like Sandman decks and Sarah decks and stuff like that aren't Sarah Hazmat decks. Like he's
Luke
just gonna
Cage
be
is
a
like
tech card that's in.
just in this moment in this small moment in
Yeah,
time, Luke Cage is like the best card in the game right
he's
now.
gonna be in
I'm like
stature
not
decks. He's gonna be
exaggerating.
in everything. Yeah, and
Like when I was
actually,
playing this, the one card I wanted to see every single game was Luke Cage. Like, please draw my Luke. Please. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
you got him? Yeah. Fist bump,
And
yeah.
actually, like confirmed too, which I think we kind of talked about this last week.
Mhm.
If they Luke Cage, like if they Luke Cage and their cards aren't afflicted anymore, a bomb
Mhm.
goes back up to 5. So
Yeah.
it's like whatever cards are currently afflicted, not have been, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a game of chicken. So
yep,
people this is why I
yep,
took Moon Girl out of the deck
yeah,
because you can't really hold your abominations like that. If they
yeah,
just play Luke Cage on turn 4, now your Moon Girl play is dead and your whole deck is based around your Moon Girl. So
Yeah.
that's why I ended up kind of taking it out because it didn't feel great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for all the other reasons I said earlier.
Which
Um,
high Evo card do you think is not stonks?
I don't know, man.
If you had to pick one.
Uh,
I'll go first. I'll go first.
mm,
I think Cyclops will be not stonks.
yeah.
I think he seems kind of okay, but I think that as a 3/4, his ability, and then you have to skip float mana. I think it'll be end up being more gimmicky, and I think he might be a little too clunky. I mean, I could be wrong. It seems like a good ability, but like you only get a couple turns to play him as a 3. So I think he'll fall off, and I think that if there's one that falls off, it'll be him the most.
I think you're right. Your
I don't know
criticism
though. I don't know.
Your criticism's, like, very correct where I almost always played him on 3. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and, you don't get to skip on 3 when you play him. But I did feel like he goes nuts after
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So
He
I
could,
I
he
think
could.
I think the card's, like, pretty good. Like, he goes crazy because it's every turn. It's like Nebula.
Yeah,
Think about Nebula. Like, he's basically Nebula, you know what I mean? Like, he's a 3-power Nebula.
yeah. You
Every
have to
single
float though.
turn,
You have to float
he's
though.
just crushing your opponent's soul, you know? And you can't killmonger him.
Yeah.
You can only
If
Luke Cage. If you don't have
but
Luke Cage, Cyclops, GG.
yeah, you have to float. You have to float mana though, or energy, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the whole deck, at least the one I was playing, is completely
Yeah, yeah,
built
yeah,
around floating. So maybe if you're playing him in a different deck, I mean, yeah, he's not versatile at all. He's in a strictly skip turn, float energy, sunspot, maybe She-Hulk type of deck.
yeah.
Any other high Evo deck, I don't think you could play him.
I just think out of all of them, I think he'll be probably the one that sees the least amount of play. Him and
Mm.
Misty Knight, but I think him the most because Misty Knight, although I don't personally like her ability too much, she might see more play just simply because she's a one drop and you can just throw her in.
My first impression was Shocker, but it was more just I'm scared to start labbing like crazy when I'm at like 97 and I'm trying to get to infinite
Yeah.
and I gotta put together these brews where I'm reducing cards and doing crazy shit. And I didn't want to do that. So
Well, yeah, now
uh
you can, and then
yeah,
you can send me the good decks.
yeah. But yeah, out of all of them, yeah, it felt like at least early impressions, Misty Knight and Shocker felt the weakest to me on the
Yeah,
first hour of playing.
yeah. You think they'll be the not stonks then?
I don't know, man. I think they're all good. I think the not Stongs might like in the future it might be the actual high evil card himself. They might nerf him again to 4-2 or some shit.
No, no, I don't. I don't
Might
know.
have to make him a 4-0. Like literally, I'm not even kidding.
No, he's just so bad as a
You don't
4/4.
play him anyway, so
Yeah,
what?
he's just so
They might
bad.
just make him a 4-0.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What about you? What's
Um,
not like? Do you have any stonks you think or not stonks?
um, I don't know, honestly. It's everything's too new, and I haven't played enough this week to get a feel for everything. Everyone seemed kind of fresh, but I think the that stature deck will probably be not stonks.
Yeah,
With
that's a
everything
good
going
call.
around.
Actually, it doesn't
It's
feel as good already as it used to be.
Yeah, and especially with high evo, that deck never went huge anyway, and that was the
Mhm.
point of it. Was that it dodged Shang-Chi. And then you get to cheat out all this other stuff. But if with high evo now with it, minusing all the stats on that stuff, like I don't know if it has enough stats. Maybe it does, but I don't know if it has enough juice to compete with those cards.
I think that's a good call. I ran into a bunch. I mean, they're obviously all teching Luke Cage in their deck
Unless they
now.
attack Luke Cage, yeah.
Yeah,
Stonks.
but it's even then, like it's already like you said, it's a deck with not that much power, and now you got a
Yeah,
2/2,
yeah.
which does not have a lot of power. Hulk's like a 620. Like your stature deck is not doing anything against the Hulk.
No,
It's not
no.
doing anything against She-Hulk, and it's not doing anything against Abomination. So if you get your bomb out before their Luke Cage, you kind of dummy the stature deck. So I think that's a
Yeah,
pretty good call, honestly. It didn't feel like everyone that was playing it that I ran into like maybe 5 or 6 of them.
yeah.
They all are playing Luke Cage, but I didn't seem to matter. Even the ones that got it, I think I lost to like one of them and beat the rest.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I would say one buyer beware. I think Rogue feels kind of awkward. I thought Rogue would be genius,
yeah,
and because if I steal their Luke Cage, I mean, God, like even in the mirror though, it's kind of clunky, and I think the smart high Evo players are just playing turn 6 Luke Cage, and it's just tough to get your Rogue off.
yeah. Oh, one card we didn't talk about. Maybe
Mm.
I'll say non-stonks. Howard the Duck. We just completely didn't talk about him last week. And he was a new
That's
card
true. We
that
didn't talk
came
about it at
out.
all. Okay,
I
well, what do
haven't
you think about Howard? I've talked a
I
lot
ha-
on the spot. I
I
haven't really given Howard too much thought.
I haven't even really seen much of him, to be honest with you. And when I
Yeah,
have seen him, I didn't seem like he was that impactful.
yeah.
Um, I think he's got a very specific use case when it's like you have maybe like Iron Lad and Jubilee in the deck, and maybe he's okay in that kind of scenario. But
Mm.
I certainly don't think he's worth 6,000. He's a good candidate to drop right to pool three. Um, yeah, I don't know. If I had him, I would take him for free and try mess around with him. But I don't think he's a great card. Maybe in the future he'll be good with different archetypes, but
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I
not
think
worth 6K.
I agree with you 100%. I think it's just straight up a bad card.
Yeah,
Um, but in the current state of Marvel Snap, there might be
yeah,
some deck archetype, like, or just another card that comes out that's like Jubilee. If there's like
yeah.
one more Jubilee type card,
Lad.
then all of a sudden Howard could be insane. Or just any, I don't know, any deck where you actually
Yeah,
need. But I'm thinking of all of the decks in the game, and I don't think any of them care if they have Howard in their deck or not.
yeah. No, I I know. He just
Like if you're playing
just
an
feels
Iron
bad.
Lad deck, your whole Iron Lad deck is based around, you're pretty happy with whatever he copies.
Yeah,
So wow, but you know what Iron Lad doesn't want to copy? Howard the Duck. That's a
yeah,
horrible prop.
yeah,
So and it just as easily could be Howard as all the other cards. It's the same chance. You just because he's a one cost doesn't mean you're opening with him every game. Like it's still a card.
yeah.
So
And he's even one that like if he was even like if they released him at 3,000 and I got 1,000 tokens back, I still wouldn't buy
no
it.
chance. No, I'm not touching that card. It's just it's Snow Guard territory. Like I think Snow Guard's worse, but it's like I'm equally not interested in both.
Even when Snowguard drops down to pool three, even when I open Snowguard, I'm gonna feel bad about it.
I think Cozy was saying like he was trying it Howard in his Hella list and he was
Yeah,
enjoying it. I mean I could kind of see that, but would you not just want like a Doctor Doom instead,
yeah.
or
Or Blade.
like an Odin or something, and just another card, a better card to discard?
Yeah,
Uh,
or Blade,
I,
or
I
Blade
I would think anyway.
as
I
a
don't
one
know
drop,
what.
or Blade as a one drop.
Well, yeah, I'm assuming he's running Blade too,
Who knows?
like, but yeah, I didn't see his list or anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hella, you just go full casino.
Mhm,
But yeah, Howard the Duck. Oh man.
mhm.
But yeah, I mean, anything else you want to talk about, my man? We're at like over an hour somehow.
Yeah, no, I feel that was a good discussion. I mean, it's
I didn't
we're
think for sure. I thought for sure we weren't going to get to an hour
yeah.
because we didn't
Well,
have
yeah,
too
we
much to
only had a
talk about.
4-day
So
gap, but we'll
yeah,
probably be back to the weekly schedule next week, I would imagine. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, either way, it was a good talk, and happy snapping. I mean, I did an Evo speech at the end of the last one, so I mean, yeah, just for the people who can afford it, enjoy. I think this card's
yeah.
crazy, man. I think it's just like
Fun card.
really, really, really powerful, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
For the half an hour that I played, he seemed really fun, and I
Yeah,
can't wait to try a bunch of different things and lose it. I mean, you're infinite now, so that's gonna be great for you. You can just do hog wild shit and not
yeah.
matter.
I'm gonna try some weird Evo builds for sure.
I still will because I don't give a shit, but
Yeah.
I can't wait to do a bunch of fun stuff.
Mhm.
Hopefully I get to play a little more.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, happy snapping, bros. Good talking to you.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, peace.